Here we go for episode 2. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. This episode is called Justice. Possibly a little bit of Dooku. Let's see. I'll be honest with you. This was kind of what I was most excited for when I saw this announced or the trailer. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh baby, there he is. Alright mate, yes, let's go. Qui-Gon! Completely forgot about Qui.
Set us down well clear of the village.
Amazing. Well, didn't we all just want to see a little bit more Dooku and Qui-Gon era? You know what I mean? We're getting it. Man, love it. That animation. Again, sorry, I'll stop talking about it. Do you know what I've just realised as well? They're obviously doing 2 stories, one Dooku, one Ahsoka. Well, I say obviously, perhaps. But it's interesting that they're comparing those 2 together, right? And perhaps we're seeing the differences and them both being presented with these situations and lives that in some way split them from the Jedi Order. And how one turned to good and how one turned to evil. Sorry, I maybe should have realised that before, but it seems like to me that perhaps might be the reason they're focusing on these 2 and contrasting them together, because they are similar in ways, but they go different ways. Qui-Gon, are you not cold, mate? Put a cloak on, lad.
Where are they holding the senator's son?
Why should we tell you?
Well, we're going to see him react a little bit more diabolically. I wonder how much are they going to lean into?
Allow me to make my intentions clear.
Cool, okay, no. Got the diplomat.
We are here to help resolve the situation.
Nice.
For the senator.
For everyone.
This is the interesting thing, that question, and they're like, for everyone. I do honestly feel like Dooku and Qui-Gon have everyone in mind. But the Jedi are not necessarily a reflection of that. Honestly, they're not. I think they should be, but they're not. And I think that's what makes Dooku and Qui-Gon so interesting, and why she's asking that question as well.
And when you entered this village, you could see the effects of his long-standing policies.
If you don't like him, why not elect a new senator?
If only it worked that way.
I wish it were that simple.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the beginning, Senator Dagonet was a good person.
Nice. I like that they're focusing on this nitty-gritty, the politics. And
I will show you where the senator's son is.
okay, which makes sense
You're
because
one of the kidnappers.
Dooku specifically is very politically minded.
They all are.
Yeah, and they're seeing the plight, perhaps the injustice of the system. Great, man. Great. They've already established that they're kind of going for what I find most interesting in regards to Dooku, and seeing more of Qui-Gon's viewpoint as well, and what shaped him, and what made him a little bit frustrated with the Jedi Order later down the line.
Have you been treated well?
For a prisoner, yes.
Your ordeal will soon be over.
It's not much of an ordeal. Not compared to how these people are living.
Ah, there it is. Damn.
You were not aware of these conditions?
I rarely leave the capital. How could my father allow this to happen to his people?
Good question.
You don't blame them for abducting you.
What choice do they have?
Nice. Hey, an understanding son. I'll give him that, mate. Come on. Well done on him. I honestly thought he was going to be a little rich brat, to be honest. Interesting they've got that droid with them as well. That's more symbolic of the Empire.
Jedi, arrest these criminals.
I'm afraid our investigation is not yet complete, Senator.
Good. Nice.
Let me assure you your son is in no immediate danger.
Oh, I love Dooku so much. It makes his fall so... he's such an interesting character. And he wasn't wrong. Like, you know, the things that turned him in the end, eventually. But he wasn't wrong to split from the Jedi Order, necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Come on, boys. Let's keep calm. Keep calm.
Step aside, Jedi.
Oh, we ain't gonna.
We cannot.
Yeah.
You serve the Senate.
No.
No.
We serve the people of this republic.
There he is. Yes. I love how they're differentiating Dooku, who is supposed to be this bad character, this villain that I think in the minds of a lot of people, right, especially the mainstream, you think of Count Dooku, you think of the bad guy, you know. But immediately you see that good part of, you know, who Dooku was and what he stood for, and the little seeds that made him break away from the Jedi Order and the Senate and all this stuff, because he had in mind the people. You know, that was it. That's all there was to it at the end of the day. He wanted to protect the people, and he didn't see the senators doing that. anymore. And it's that line's interesting because later on, and obviously in Revenge of the Sith, we see a lot of kind of, you know, we serve the Senate from the Jedi, and they are an arm of the Senate, and he's like, no, we're not. And that's like the key difference in that ideology, I think, from Dooku's perspective. Yes, okay. The stance is nice.
Stand down.
I will not.
The little animation there with his face was awesome. No, hey, chill. No, fire, don't chill, no chill. Oh, mate. This is going to turn the son against his father. How interesting as well, and how different it would have been if Anakin had been taught by Qui-Gon. The decisions he's made as... Ooh, that little look there.
Destroy this town and make an example of it.
Wow. Yeah, this guy's really just a bad guy, isn't he?
None shall defy me, not even you, Master Jedi.
Oh, baby. Yes! I shouldn't be this excited, but I am. That's awesome, mate. That's... And like... Oh, okay. This is what makes the idea of the Grey Jedi so interesting, because it's like... You would argue that he's not wrong for this, you know? And he looked around a minute ago at all the people and how many people have been hurt. This prevents more people getting hurt.
Be eradicated.
No!
Master.
It is though, let go, dude. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think he asked himself the question, like, you know, I have the power, what am I going to do about it? I can stop this right now, and he did. Do you know what I mean?
I will not allow your suffering to continue.
Well, that's something. That's the thing with having so much power, right? As these guys have, as the Jedi have. You know, they see situations like this in front of them and they're like, well, I can stop this so easily just with a flick of my wrist. It's hard to argue that it's not the good choice to stop it and do that and, you know, pull that trigger and, you know.
I wonder if any meaningful change will come of this.
Is that why you took action into your own hands?
Your actions saved many lives today. You're a much wiser man than I, Qui-Gon Jinn.
This is the thing, right? Like, you see Dooku, and obviously we know that he went over the edge, but Qui-Gon, man, I don't know if he would have. I don't think he would have. I think Qui-Gon has more of a balance. That's it. Mate, honestly, that felt like it was like 2 minutes. It was like so quick. Yeah, though, honestly, like, this is the thing. You can make a show like this, right? And it's so short, but it's so packed with, you know, what you want to see. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but like I say, Dooku is honestly probably one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Genuinely, I find him so interesting, and his motivations and his fall so interesting. I think there's a lot of greatness about it, and like, you know, I don't know, I mentioned in my last episode, I've got this Dooku book here, and in that, like, he is essentially like the golden child of the Jedi Order. He's kind of like Anakin for his era. In a way, he's not the chosen one, but he was like the best at everything. You know, he was the student to beat and all this stuff, and he was the Jedi Order's golden child for a long time. And, you know, you read more about what Dooku stood for and, you know, why he did what he did, and, you know, leaving the Jedi Order in the first place essentially was to protect the people back on Sereno, his home planet. And he couldn't do that as a Jedi because they wouldn't let him go. And he was like, well, I've got to go. I've got to do the good thing. And do you know what I mean? It's so interesting. I love it. And this was awesome. And how long was it? I mean, the episode itself is like 13 minutes, so yeah, fair enough. It's quite short. Yeah, damn. Let's get into. Let's get into. I'm gonna get into episode 3. See where that goes. Yeah, I feel like I should have been more on it. Well, it's episode 2, Tyler. But give yourself a break, mate. About the Ahsoka Dooku duality. I find it so. I feel like the reason they chose to focus on these two people is because they have very similar paths, right? You know, they were once with the Jedi. Their future leads them to split from the Jedi for whatever reason. But they do, in the end, in the future, take very, very different paths. And yeah, I feel like we're seeing, you know, from episode 1, episode 2, we're seeing the beginnings of. I know Ahsoka's there's not much there, right? Like, she was a baby in episode 1, but I feel like we're going to see more of that. Hopefully, we'll see. But especially with Dooku, we're seeing the seeds of what motivates him, you know, and maybe perhaps the first hint of Tyrannus there as well. All right, we'll end this one here. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. If you enjoyed this, not subscribed, and you're new to the channel, hey man, just, you know, you got this far, why not? Let's just give a subscribe to the old boy. That's the old boy, that's me. I'm the old boy, apparently. I don't know why I just call myself that. I've never called myself that in my life. Click it, mate, why not? Thank you, as always, to my patrons. Honestly, you guys are insane. Thank you for supporting me. Links down below for anyone else who'd like to support me a little bit extra as well. No pressure, mate, no pressure at all. And with that said, I'll see you soon.